The MOBA genre is an elusive genre to break into. It's the opposite of something like the multiplayer first person shooter genre, where that every Friday at 12 a.m. on the dot, you'll have 10 more new shooters to try. The MOBA genre seems to be so exclusive and impossible to break into that it kind of feels like it refused its own boom in a way. Like, think about the third person cover shooter boom, the one that happened after Gears of War. We can remember a ton of mediocre to good titles that either copied or were inspired by Gears. It was like an era in time, you remember it. Even without remembering specifics, assuming you were old enough, you remember when every game seemed to be a third person, dark, gritty, drab, gray, cover-based shooter. I don't really feel like the same can be said for MOBAs. It feels more like every few years someone randomly tries to jump into the MOBA arena, the multiplayer online battle arena. And when these rare attempts happen, more times than not, they're basically dead on arrival. And even just in terms of notable MOBA inspired things, you're basically just looking at Overwatch and maybe Paladins, if you feel like Paladins is worthy of a mention. For a more modern comparison, I think the MOBA genre is as settled in as the Battle Royale genre has started to become recently, where you basically just have your big three, some smaller fish who do enough to survive, and everyone else falls off a cliff. For Battle Royales, the big three are Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone. Sorry, PUBG and H1Z1. Doesn't matter who's first, matters who's best. Now, we're still kind of within the Battle Royale boom, even if it is at the tail end. So all the stragglers haven't fallen off yet. I mean, bro, we just got Vampire the Masquerade with their late ass entry in the pie contest, the Blood Hunt, so. But for MOBAs, the fodder has long since been removed and forgotten, and all you get is someone randomly trying their best to break into the genre every few years or so. What I'm getting at with all this nonsense is there isn't a lot of options if you enjoy the MOBA genre. It's pretty much just your big three. You've got the granddaddy MOBA in Dota, well, Dota 2. You've got literally your only option if you're a console player in Smite, and you've got the big insurmountable mountain, the Fortnite to Dota's PUBG, League of Legends, which is actually the franchise I want to talk about today. Wow, what a long ass intro, right? That was like a fucking anime opening, or watching those goddamn words slowly reel across the screen at the beginning of every Star Wars movie. In a galaxy far, far away, some shithead drones on about MOBAs, right? Yeah, so anyway, League of Legends. I have a sort of weird relationship with the franchise, and it all kind of starts with the fact that I am not a PC gamer. That is not to say I have never played any games on PC. That is to say, I do not typically spend long stretches of time playing games on PC. I've also never owned an extremely powerful PC, not that it's required for League. So obviously, you might guess that I prefer a controller to keyboard and mouse. So in my youth, around the time I was in middle school, I played League of Legends, but not enough to understand it, and I can't even say that I wanted to, because I was so uncomfortable when I played on account of me not being an avid PC player, So for a long time, I mostly ignored League of Legends and the franchise at large. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you might have guessed that I am really into art. That includes illustrative artwork. I just like a well-crafted piece of art in whatever form it comes in. Because of that, from like 2014, maybe 13, all the way to 2017 or 18, I would spend a lot of time on Tumblr, if you remember Tumblr. Now, Tumblr would have a lot of great artwork on it, and League of Legends is really popular, so people like to draw their characters. So I'd often find myself going, whoa, this looks cool, who is this character, damn, this is dope, what's this from, you know? And a lot of the time the answer was, it's so and so from League of Legends, you know? And this led me to knowing a good amount of the characters, visually anyway, with almost zero knowledge of the game. Fun fact, a similar thing happened to me with Overwatch. I basically knew every Overwatch hero before I'd ever played the game. But yeah, the League characters and art community sort of drew me into it. You know, I look at characters like Jinx, and it's not a wonder at all why she's the poster child. Her design is amazing. I'd argue Jinx is a top 10 best designed character in anything from the past 20 years, if not ever. Yes, it's that good. Ask me about it sometime and I'll explain it to you. I'll really explain it to you. But moving on. So yes, I was kind of feeling like I wanted to play some League after being exposed to so much art of the characters and stuff like that. So I felt like I kind of wanted to play some, maybe just for the characters if nothing else. But it was still just a PC thing, not something I was into at the time, not something I'm even into now. More so than the PC itself, the idea of mouse and keyboard controls was the deal breaker, you know? They just don't jive with me. With no console port in sight, it seemed like I'd just have to forever be on the outside looking in, so I figured I'd just enjoy the League art community and give up on ever playing it. Then, at some point, a friend of mine got me to play Smite, and while all the jargon of lanes and roles and the horrible competitive toxicity that comes with playing a MOBA made for a rocky entrance, I ended up really enjoying it, and I got to understand how MOBAs work. I mean, I played an absolute metric shit ton of Smite. I typically play tanky support roles, if you were wondering, and I'd be lying if I said I was anything but a god tier tank. Then in 2019, during League of Legends 10-year anniversary, everything changed. Riot Games announced a whole slew of games in the League of Legends universe, as well as Valorant, which at the time was only known to us as Project A. There was also Project L, which is still on the way as of this recording, but is a League of Legends tag-based fighting game. Scrumptious, can't wait. But also included were two games more important to this story. Legends of Runeterra, a digital card game not completely unlike Hearthstone, and League of Legends Wild Rift, a new version of League built from the ground up that would be coming to mobile and console. This was my time. I saw Legends of Runeterra as my in because it was coming sooner, and I love digital card games, RIP Elder Scrolls Legends. So I signed up for the Legends of Runeterra beta, and I had a ball. And I know what you're thinking, but you said you hate mouse and keyboard. Calm down, Chief. I can slowly point a cursor and click and drag things all day. It's, you know, it's more mouse and mouse than mouse and keyboard, you know? But yeah, I was now finally in the world of Runeterra that I'd been interested in for so long, and in a kind of game that I really enjoy. I got to learn more about the world and get cards from some characters that I wasn't even aware existed, but it still wasn't the League of Legends MOBA experience that I had kind of come to crave after playing so much Smite and being into all that, you know, building your character and customization and, you know, freedom of choice and shit like that. That would come to me later in the form of the Wild Rift beta test that unfortunately, at the time, were not in America. So I had to use a VPN so I could play the mobile version of League. Now, because it is a mobile version, I understand that it is a faster adaptation of the League formula, which, if I'm being honest, I really like. Sue me. Like I said, I played a lot of Smite, so I understand that a typical MOBA match lasts about anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes, assuming one team doesn't surrender as a gross overreaction to a single tower being destroyed. But really, if two teams are being really smart about it, you could be looking at up to an hour of playtime for a single match. This clearly can't work for mobile, where you're encouraged to want to just get one more quick match in, But yeah, I really like it. I do sort of miss the down in the action third person perspective that Smite has, but that's extremely minor and more of a preference than an issue. I didn't care for Wild Rift's auto-targeting at first, but I learned to appreciate the different way you have to play it. It was only an issue to me at the time because I was trying to play it like Smite, Once you accept the game for what it is and you play it accordingly, the world is your oyster, everything opens up. But yeah, same case as Legends of Runeterra for Wild Rift. I got to learn new characters and be in the world, and specifically in Wild Rift's case, I got an authentic, if streamlined, League of Legends MOBA experience. I also think Wild Rift's shorter matches help dial back the toxicity, because you don't get quite as mad when you lose or are losing. I think that's why maybe people aren't so toxic on there. You only wasted half the time, so only half is toxic, right? I'm not sure. I'm only guessing because I don't partake in the toxicity personally. I don't like to send people messages and call them shitheads and tell them how stupid they are for dying on their lane a couple of times and shit like that. So I could only guess why people are a little less toxic on here. It's great though. And if you're not a mobile player, you don't play Smite, Dota, or League or anything, yeah, I'm here to let you know it's toxic as shit typically. So caution when entering, right? So moving on, I also played Ruined King, a League of Legends story. This is an RPG by Riot Forge and developed by Airship Syndicate, with a pretty creative turn-based combat system, although I thought the game was just okay. But I loved watching the party members interact with the world and each other, learning more about Viego and the Ruined Nation, Misfortune, Ahri, Yasuo. I didn't even know Illaoi, Pike, and Gangplank existed until I played that game, so that was cool. I've just been having fun in recent years, finally being a leaguer in a sense, and of course I watched Arcane like everyone else in the universe. It's great, but don't get me started, we'll be here another hour. But yeah, if we fast forward to where we are now in time, at this point, we are well past Wild Rift having been fully released. I've been having a great time. I cannot wait for this thing to come to console. It's going to be great. As of this recording, I believe both Nautilus and Pike are coming to Wild Rift next month, which would be June. I can't wait to play Nautilus. I use him in one of my Runeterra decks, so it's going to be fun to assume direct control of him now, I'm just having fun. I'm happy to be a leaguer. It's probably something most people don't say, huh? but yeah, I'm looking forward to some things that we know are coming. I mentioned Project L, the fighting game. Nunu and Willump are getting an adventure game slated for this year. I'm excited about that. Looks like it'll be like tranquil fun in the vein of like a 3D platformer sort of. I don't know about the Echo game. It's called Convergence. I don't know if the game looks bad, but I do not personally like the art style. I'm also just not a huge fan of Echo. I know he's really popular. I'm just not into it. But we'll see. Maybe I'll play that if I can get past its looks. But beyond that, I just hope there's even more cool League shit that we don't know about and it's on its way to us, right? So there you have it. my weird relationship with League of Legends. I engage with everything League of Legends branded except for the original game. Oh, and that Ziggs game. Ziggs has a game. It looked stupid. Alright, that's all I've got for you. This was a little different, sort of a personal featurette, but I hope you liked it all the same. Until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I'm gonna go listen to some KDA. Goodbye.